player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by enjoying those guilty pleasures. There are a few things that really can prevent adventurers from venturing out and saving the day, protecting the princess from saving the princess from the dark magician who's kidnapped her in the giant tower or whatever. But there are some exceptions to the rule. And now the most common one we hear about is like ale in whorehouses, right? Where they're constantly going to speak with madams and get their stuff, that's scratching that irresistible itch, right?
My barbarian loved his beer.
Yeah, and that's probably the most common of these. Or gambling too. Gambling's another one, I think.
Although Thor loved his steak.
Yeah, that was a great guilty pleasure because it actually impacted the way you role played. I don't remember all that happened, but I remember that was a core feature of your, like a thing of characteristic of your character.
Yeah, there's a huge fight going outside. Thor's gonna sit here and finish his steak.
So I was thinking about some of these different things that can really be just a fun guilty pleasure, and I was thinking about what kind of stuff would I like to do as a player. Like, what kind of stuff does tickles my dice? Now, my wife knows because she follows my Facebook and everything that I'm the person that likes to poke a bear, right? Like, I will post memes and images that will just ring and piss people off. Why? I get some sort of sick, twisted pleasure out of watching people get riled up.
Yep.
That's a guilty pleasure. And as a bard, I totally like to lean on that, right? So my sort of rogue bit or my bard bit would be anytime I have an opportunity to, deflate the ego of some egotistical schmuck, I'm going to do so. And I'm not talking like necessarily using like vicious mockery, but I would waste spell slots just to make somebody walk around in the nude. Why? Because he was being the big burly douche that he is. He needed to be humiliated. And what humiliates somebody more than pointing out their sword is actually a dagger? You know what I mean?
Or throw blame on somebody else. Compensate for someone there with a big cat piece there, my lord. Who's on that?
That guy over there. Like, for instance, rogues have a traditional guilty pleasure of sticky fingers, right? But instead, maybe they have the urge to frame some douche of a noble, just for the fun of it. This was where, like, the forgery kit would come in a lot of handy. Because as players, you run into douchey nobles all the time. How awesome would it be if the rogue turned to the DM and say, yeah, I want to frame that guy for stealing from this thing over here and then give those 5 apples to the homeless, hungry kids that are sitting over there. You know?
Hey, DM, can I try to steal this noble's pants?
You want to steal his pants?
His pants.
His pants.
His pants. While he's wearing them.
Right. So how about maybe a cleric? You know, we talk about the bards always being the love makers. Maybe it's a cleric. And maybe the first thing that they do every morning is go and spend time praying and asking forgiveness at a temple. I did it again. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Do not take away my power.
Unless they're a cleric for some sort of love deity.
Damn. Then it's not a guilty pleasure. It's a responsibility.
But they can make it a guilty pleasure.
But, like, what if, like, okay, so let's go with the cleric theme. Let's continue on this. Let's say that cleric meets a gal or girl in a bar, and they really get the hots, and they're on a time crunch. And a important person ends up dying because they had to take care of business. Now, obviously, we're not saying get into the details, but if the cleric says, DM, I'm going to go do this, you roll a die, you lost 3 hours. Oh, you get there, she's dead already. Make that stuff important.
Yes. And oh my God, let's go rescue the... Oh, hello, ladies.
And once again, you don't have to go into super detail, but just talking and getting a little bit through and letting the dice fall where they may, and maybe the players are trying to have to end up forcibly dragging your character around because you're being inconvenient. Now...
Tater... Build a character based on Howard from Big Bang Theory, who has a thing for belt buckles.
Oh, yes.
Second editions from Papa Fox Tacos. Use a psionic power to glue a child's pants to furniture.
Oh my God, that would be so funny. So when they walk away, it like rips and tears, and then they fly off into a rage.
The priest, nope, you've reached your forgiveness limit.
So the one thing I wanted to touch on, there's one that happens with all the time, and that's the gambling trope, right? There's gambling dice and stuff in some of the little player packs, right? Did you ever watch A Knight's Tale?
Of course.
What was his name? Watt or what? Or what's the guy's name?
It was Chaucer.
Chaucer? What did I have?
You put Watt.
Oh, that's the other one, isn't it?
That's the wrong character.
Whatever. It's been a long time. Give me a break.
No.
Anyway, so that character is a great example of the inconvenience that comes with gambling. He gets down to his skivvies, basically.
Oh, he lost more. No, he lost his skivvies.
So do you want to? I don't. It's been a long time. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about it? Because I think that's a really great example of how a guilty pleasure should impact the story in the party.
Well, they first encountered Chaucer on the road, naked, and he claimed he was robbed.
He claimed he was robbed. I remember that.
Yeah. But then he's like, no, guys, I can help you for sure. Just give me some clothes and some food. They get to the jousting tournament. Then they hear word from messenger. Your minstrel says he needs your help. They go to the gambler's tent. We're sitting there naked again. You weren't robbed, were you?
But now the team has to deal with that.
Yep.
And I think those are the sorts of guilty pleasures that are just fun and entertaining and enjoyable. And they add a lot. They don't add to the adventuring story, but they add to the stories that the players will remember and laugh about later.
Yep. Yeah, Watt was the character. It was played by Alan Tudyk.
Yes. Oh my God, that guy's funny.
He's one of those actors who never seems to make it famous, but he always stays busy.
Yeah, right? That was a good one. I'm surprised he didn't get more recognition for that. Anyways.
He voices a chicken in Moana.
He what?
He voices a chicken in Moana.
Didn't know that. I don't think anybody did. Except for you. You know some weird ass shit, dude.
This is news.
Anyways, what do you think about this player tip?
It's a good one.
Of course it is.
Lots of fun stuff can come from this, as
Yeah,
we
and,
saw.
and that's the point, right? Is in whatever you pick, find a way to make it inconvenient to the player characters. Not the players. Don't piss off and annoy the players. But like doing random stuff during like throwing your voice to make it look like somebody's talking smack about somebody else and starting bar fights, that's hilarious.